Hi guys, so as promised, I'm back with what happened after my Ann Upton course and after I made a few panels of beaches with the supplies that she had sent and also some additional supplies that I bought after I sort of understood the medium a little bit better. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, this is the first panel that I made uh, with her stuff, and this was because she had provided two panels and I wanted to make a beach with one of those, and the beach has multiple layers. This one is just actually one layer, and there's no second layer to this. This is just one dirty pour of resin, but it's seriously one of my most favorite things that I've created. So as you can see, I've decided to change the angle and basically handhold the phone. I'm new at making all these videos, etc. This is actually my second one, but I just feel I'll be able to control things better this way than to just have it on a stand. Anyway, this was the first one that I did. It was relatively easy, I have to say. I did a dirty pour. I moved it the way I thought I wanted the colors to move, and it turned out beautiful. This was the first beach panel that I made. It's very pretty, especially if I can just show you nicely. I especially like the way this wave turned out because it looks really realistic, and as well this, you see, it's very pretty. This actually took me 3 layers. The impact took 3 layers, and you can make that out because you can see the thing with layering resin is that it gives you depth, right? So you can build up, and so you can see actually like this part and this part, these are not the final layers. This part, this is actually probably coming from the first or the second layer, and the really darker bits are what's coming from the third and the last layer. So layering also gives you a good chance to correct colors or minute things that might bother you. It turned out okay, I thought, for a first one, especially because when you're working with resin, there's so many things that you need to keep in mind, and I'm going to go over some of them quickly with you once I'm through showing you the stuff that I've made over time, because it's just that I've learned so much from the YouTube and the Instagram communities. I would just want to pass on the same thing back to those that are starting out. So this was the first. I think it looks really pretty still. Here I can show you some of the details. You see, I've managed to get some amount of lacing, some amount of detail, which is pretty cool. I really do love the wave action here. So that was my second panel, and then for my third panel, I decided to change the way I laid down the panel, and I thought I also wanted from this one of my feelings was that I wanted more of the sand, and so this sort of a layout gave me more sand to play around visually. So over here again, I laid out the darkest colors here, the which is actually, it doesn't show, I think, on camera, but it's a very beautiful green, greenish emeraldish. I think it doesn't show on camera, but it's a very pretty color. So again, this is, I think this was 2 layers or maybe even 3. At this point I don't remember, it's been a while I did this, but you can see clearly the waves are so much more better here. You can see that I've sort of got an idea of how to work them, how to work the heat gun. But I want a year. I think this should give you some idea of how. I was really happy with the way the waves turned out because they look really very real. I come from Bombay, which is a place that is right by the sea, so I've spent a lot of time near the sea. So these panels are really special to me. And the final thing that I made, and this one I absolutely love. And so what I've done over here is that I added some, and these are real rocks. My son is a collector, so I have these real rocks that I put on, and it's really easy to put these on when you have resin, because as most of you I guess know that it's really tacky, so very sticky, and you put something on, it's difficult to get it off. So these are basically in place, were put in place with resin. I work primarily with the same colors, but you can see the impact or the look is different here. I love this detail, absolutely love it. I colored the rocks, and this, if you can just see this sort of an effect, is just, it came out looking real, that it kind of just surprised me as well. Now I have to be honest here and say that while, like, I would say 98% of this is resin, I did in the end use some acrylics and some pens to get some sort of shading in. And this is again something that I've learned by looking at other artists online, where they don't just restrict themselves to one medium if the piece so demands it. And I thought in this one, I mean these three rather, are 100% resin, and that's it. This one I have used some of my acrylic color, so like for this shade, if you can see shading in the beach part, that's actually a pen. I used some of my turquoise, which is an acrylic color. I just basically painted it on because there were parts of it that I wanted a little bit deeper than the color that I was getting. So yeah, but overall I absolutely love the way this piece turned out. It's been a great learning to just sort of make it as well, and I hope to make a lot more beaches, and I will, because like I said, I do love beaches, and I will keep sharing what I do and sharing the learnings that I have with you guys, so that it's not just me that's on this journey. So there's this, and in general, like I said, once I have shared, let me just put these together so that you can see what the growth was. Same colors, exactly the same colors, but very different looks if you ask me. So quickly, resin gets really messy, and here's what I do. It's very sticky, it's very tacky, so I always work on this plastic tarp. I just put it on, and I have these plastic bags that I cut out, and the color goes on them, but the thing with the resin, it just comes off if it's on plastic. It's a great way of working. You don't need anything any more expensive, just some bags that you may have. Just lay them on. Garbage bags work actually the best because the paint is so easy to get off those. To get resin off my hand, I do have denatured alcohol. I just personally found acetone, something that you use for nails or nail polishes, works really well as well. Yeah, one more thing that I want to share with you was, you always sort of put a masking tape or a painter's tape on the edges because the resin does tend to flow over, and if you don't have that, it will get really, really difficult to take the, then you have to basically sand it off. But in my opinion, if you leave on the masking tape for like 1 day or 2 days, then it becomes difficult to pull it off. So if you sort of pull it out in maybe 10 hours, it's just easier to manipulate and sort of just peel it back like a clean pull. And sometimes if it doesn't work, I just use my heat gun. Heat gun basically softens it out, and then it's easy to pull it out, so that works. Another thing that I learned is to always check if your resin is leveled, and this I'm talking for every layer, but most especially for the top layer. Now let me show you what I mean. In this first one that I did, now I don't know if you can see it, but if I hold it like this, there is certain bumps, like, yeah, I think this one you can probably see over here, where the resin clearly didn't flow. And when I was putting resin on the top level, this probably wasn't noticeable, so clearly that's why I did not notice it. But in my last one that I did, I like double checked it, triple checked it probably 4 times over just to make sure that all of it is covered and covered really well, the top layer, because you do want that really nice professional finish at the end. And that will not happen if A, you don't have enough resin, B, of course you do need to torch it so you get all the bubbles out, and cover it up so that none of the debris or dust or whatever, you know, if you have pets, pet hair, etc., gets on the resin. Cover them, and I think if you sort of take care of these, the end product is going to be like this. One turned out very, very beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, I could use them on my dining table to put stuff, because resin's so hard and so durable, and also heat resistant, that, you know, you could keep, like, say I could keep a cup of coffee on this and it would be absolutely fine. Don't overuse the heat gun. Yes, this was, I've made a few points over here that I'm sharing with you. Don't overuse the heat gun. And I did do it, where did I do this? I think I did it over here, because when you're trying to manipulate the waves, it's very tricky. It does take some learning, and I do still have a lot of learning, I think, in that area to do. But if you sort of hold the heat gun at one place trying to manipulate the resin or the color, that area is just going to harden up and there's nothing you can do about it later. So yeah, just keep the heat gun moving, and don't get overzealous. If one bit's not working, just work on it in another layer or the second layer, but don't overheat it. That's not going to work. A little white goes a long way, and that's very true. And I have been using the white that came with Ann Upton's kit. It's from Resin Art. Yes, that's exactly where it's from. She highly recommends it, and it's very good. As you can see, even with my first attempt, I did get some lacing, and I definitely got lacing in my in the attempts after. So it's a really good white, but white can really easily take over and overpower your painting if you're not careful. So you need to, and this is again something that I've learned the hard way. Like in this one, this required 4 or 3 layers, as many as it did, because in my second or the first layer, I can't remember, like over here you can see most of my beach got covered by white, which I didn't really like, and that is what made me go for a bigger beach in this option. So yeah, and getting lacing is not easy, so just know that it will take a lot of practice. I highly recommend Art Resin. I'm a beginner, and for me, I thought that was the best. It has a work time of 45 minutes, which certainly helps, so that's really good. And one very important thing, guys, like, I'm very conscious about the environment, and much as I love resin and fluid art, it does take a lot of toll on the environment, I feel, only for the reason that it uses a lot of plastic. So all my cups, all the cups that you need for pouring are plastic, different sizes I have over here, and I've just kept my table messy because I want you guys to see exactly how it is. You know, like I said, the tarp, the plastic bags, you know, the spoons, if you need to mix, like I have these spoons over here, you have these popsicle sticks that you have the tape, etc. So yeah, I just try to, so what I try to do is I try to reuse these things really as much as possible, and you can see what I mean when I say that. I really do reuse as much plastic as I can. Resin, I think if you dry it off in a cup and you just pull it out, if you're lucky, for the most part the resin just comes out and you can easily reuse those cups. So just, I mean, just to put my little bit out there, just be careful or aware, and just try to you know, be economical about using plastic as much as possible. Well, I hope you like this video. Really, I'm just trying to pay it forward because I learned so much from YouTube, and I'll be back if I have something more interesting to share with you guys. Bye, take care.